Hi, I'm Tanner Richard Kraft, and I'm in the mood for podcasting. Zing, zing. Hit the webcam. Zing.
Got his ass.
Yeah, as I said, I'm Tanner Richard Kraft. It's Bomb Squad Matinee. Today I'm joined by...
I'm Tim M. Sullivan.
Sydney Russell.
And if you couldn't tell by my horrible in the mood for love pun, in the mood for podcasting thing, we're talking about the 2000 masterpiece of Hong Kong cinema directed by Wong Kar-wai, In the Mood for Love.
我冇諗過你真係會鍾意我㗎。
我都冇諗過。嗰陣時係想知佢哋點開始，而家我知，原來好多嘢會不知不覺。
And on today's episode, I'm doing a historic first, or at least something that we have not done in a very long time. I'm skipping a warm-up question, and we're just getting right into it. Mostly because the only good warm-up question I felt like saying was, "What's your thoughts on Wong Kar-wai as a director?" And I don't know, with how Wong Kar-wai is as a director, how uniquely he makes his movies, I felt like it's kind of impossible to talk about your thoughts on the movie without talking about how he operates. So we'll just get right into it. Overall thoughts on In the Mood for Love. Tim, we'll start with you.
Yes. All right. Sylvester Stallone. But yeah,
Anarcho-primitive. That's an old inside joke between Ethan and I. Why did that activate the Roku on my TV?
He's playing the anarcho-Bidenist.
Not again.
Not again. Foregoing sort of the history with Wong Kar-wai kind of thing. I'll probably get more into that with general discussion, but the short version is I was introduced to Wong Kar-wai and this film through a class that I took at Webster University, and I haven't revisited any of his films since taking that class, so I was excited to use this episode as an excuse to watch this film again. And it's a fantastic movie, absolutely deserving of all its acclaims. Probably one of, if not the most renowned Wong Kar-wai film, maybe Chungking Express. I think in mainland China, his first film, As Tears Go By, is really well liked, but In the Mood for Love is definitely very well acclaimed. One of his most well-known movies. There's a term that people use a lot when discussing certain romantic films, yearning. I feel like the term yearning is often used more for LGBTQ type romance films, which, for good reason. There's a lot of those types of stories that, call for some degree of yearning, but man, this is some hardcore straight yearning in this picture. And the big thing I want to talk about for this section of the episode is the cinematography and how it shows that yearning. So most of this movie is shot by Christopher Doyle, who was a longtime collaborator with Wong Kar-wai, and he ended up having to drop out of this film because it was taking so long to shoot that he was missing out on a lot of other gigs, and ended up happening again on 2046, his next film. So they haven't worked together since 2046, but after he had to drop out, the rest of it was shot by Poon Lung Kwan and Mark Lee Ping Bin, and what I think is really remarkable about the cinematography in this movie is how, we're seeing these two people who have this sort of forbidden love between them, But it's rare to see them in a shot, like, both together well in the frame. A lot of shots are, like, long, and you see the two of them at different points in the shot, or one will be in focus and one will be soft, or they'll be behind bars or something. And one of my favorite shots of, like, both of them is this shot that's, like, panning through these mirrors where you see Tony Leung at one point and then he goes away, and then you see Maggie Cheung at another point. Just some really fascinating choices there, and it kind of ties. It's very boldly stated at the very end when it's just like he remembers this time through as if through a dirty window, and everything's obscured. Very, very, very needle hit on the head with just stating it explicitly there. So yeah, the cinematography there is incredible. The acting, of course, is incredible. Tony Leung Chiu-wai, we've talked about before on the film. What was it? Fucking Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
His Hollywood debut.
Last time we talked about Tony Leung.
Hollywood
Oops.
debut, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think that was his first not Hong Kong film, which is
His Hollywood debut. I think his first movie produced like west of China.
yeah, that's what an interesting choice. Yay.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, Tony Leung, one of the most acclaimed actors in the world. Maggie Cheung, also incredible. They give incredible performances. I'm sure Tanner will have a lot to say about them, going from his acting background, but performances are great. Cinematography captures those performances so well. The score is incredible. Wong Kar-wai likes to do this thing where there'll be like one or two recurring tracks that just play over and over and over again throughout the movie. Does this in Chungking Express a lot. Does it here a lot. Like I was reading something, I have the Criterion set, and they were just kind of talking about how, like, you hear that track and you just immediately picture the whole movie. It just iconic score. Yeah, just very incredible artistic and technical things going on in this movie. Yeah, before I, step on anybody else's toes anymore, I'll wrap up my general view and just say, movie very fucking good. I'm glad I got to revisit it. Back to you, Tanner.
Great stuff. I agree with everything you just said, and I will have some things to say about the acting. You brought up the ending thing about how, there's that final message at the end that says, Mr. Chow viewed that period of his life as if he was looking through a dirty window. I just want to bring up that when I rewatched this movie just now, I rented it on Amazon Prime Video because I do not have the Criterion Wong Kar-wai collection, unfortunately.
No Criterion Channel either?
It's just not in the cards quite yet. Ethan gave me his login and I forgot it, and I'm too embarrassed to ask him for it again.
Ethan, don't watch
if
this.
you're watching this episode.
Don't watch this, Ethan.
Yeah, send it to me again, please. But when the movie quote unquote ends and it starts playing that little thing at the message at the end, and it's translated on English at the bottom because I can't read that. I don't know if that's in Cantonese, Mandarin, or something else. I can't read it, regardless of what it is. The Amazon Prime end of movie, you might want to watch this next, started going immediately. I had to exit out of it so I could actually fucking read the translation. But the funniest thing about it was, if you like this, you might like Heads of State. And I was like, I don't see the connection there, Amazon.
You might
what are you
like
talking
Flubber.
about? Sure, I might like Heads of State. It looks like an okay action movie. Where's the goddamn connection? Does Jack Quaid secretly have a cameo in The Mood for Love? Because that'd be kind of funny. Just randomly Jack Quaid's in the background of a shot.
Jack Quaid is actually going to be
Tony
playing.
Leung is actually in head of state.
Jack Quaid is actually going to be playing Mr. Chow in
Quaid is-
the American remake of In the Mood for Love.
He's still called Mr.
The
Chow.
source just trust me, though. It's true. He's still called Mr. Chow.
All right. He's still called Mr. Chow. Oh god. Sydney, what is your overall thoughts on In the Mood for Love?
Okay, so I've always had kind of a more, I guess, fickle grasp on this movie. I mean, I think in my own journey as a cinephile, I've gone through multiple tiers of like, this is a movie that everyone talks about and I should watch. And then I move up to like a little bit more advanced, and then I move up to like more advanced. Like my starting point was like, I should watch Donnie Darko because that's like a real, like that's a movie. And now I don't really feel that way.
Did you know that Donnie Darko is the greatest movie ever made?
Yeah, I did know that.
Source 15-year-old boy.
Well, that was me at like 15, like when I was really starting to get into movies and stuff. And
yeah.
And then I kind of started film school, and I was like, there's this director guy that obviously I know about vaguely, but I haven't seen anything of his. So I finally was like, I'll watch the first result that shows up on his Letterboxd page, which is In the Mood for Love. And I don't think I was... It's so funny because when you're in college, you think you're an adult, you think you're mature, you think you have a grasp on things, you think you're so smart. And then you look back and I'm like, I know it wasn't that long ago, but I don't think I had really lived enough to fully get it. I obviously really did like it. I did. I was enamored with Wong Kar-wai's style immediately, but there was something kind of impenetrable about it that I just wasn't able to grasp. And I rated it on Letterboxd 4 out of 5 stars based more on objectivity of it's a beautiful movie, obviously. But now, I mean, I've seen it a few times since, and I've always kind of felt the same way. It's not my favorite Wong Kar-wai. I don't know. I watched it again last night. Okay, he kind of cooked. Kind of a good movie. Wow, I can't believe I was wrong about something. That's crazy. It's never happened before, but there's a first for everything.
It's all right, I guess.
Yeah, and now I'm just so... Something that I just find so interesting about Wong Kar-wai is the kind of sense of ambiguity with his film style, as in you never really know what time period it's supposed to take place. I mean, obviously we know that this is Hong Kong in 1962, British Hong Kong. But the way it's filmed, the way it's blocked, it's out of time almost. And I feel that way about pretty much all of his movies, that there's just a certain like transcendence in his settings where he sets his movies and how he films them. And I think that adds so much to the atmospheric feeling of love and the suffering that comes with desire. Oh, I can't stand the suffering that comes with desire. I'm so prepared and well spoken about this, but I think what is so interesting about this is that it's giving me a perspective of film that I haven't seen a whole lot of. Obviously, I've seen a fair share of Hong Kong films. I've seen some mainland Chinese films, but I like this perspective that we're getting of Shanghainese immigrants moving to Hong Kong in the 60s, which was under British rule at the time. And I like seeing the day-to-day lives of these people. And what I think this film really, really does well is showcases how love isn't really always an event that just happens to someone and is a big, grandiose profession and is a big, life-changing event. It's something that can just over time feel inherent to yourself, like to your being. It's something that you can kind of, it can creep up on you. I mean, he says that I think in the movie or something along those lines of it can creep up on you. I think it's when they're kind of role playing their respective spouses. And I mean, there's so much to be said about that. There's so much to be said about, I think you did hit the nail on the head with talking about the yearning. I do really judge a romance movie, both romantic drama, not dramedy. Well, romantic drama, dramedy, and comedy. I judge those films a lot based on how well they show yearning and longing. I think it should be a fundamental pillar of your romance movie, because I think it's, you know, a feeling that is so difficult to display. Like it's something that can be so not easy to just show without telling us, the audience. I think that's why so many characters do have grand professions of love, because it's a way they can kind of tell the audience that there's yearning without actually like showing it. And I think the way this movie frames them as so close yet so far away is really wonderful. It adds to the pain. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love Maggie Cheung. I hope one day she comes back, but also if it means that she's gonna be like doing what Tony is doing and like joining the MCU, I don't know if I want that. But it would be lovely to see her again. I've loved all of her work. I love like Irma Vep. I love this movie called Comrades, Almost a Love Story, which actually has Christopher Doyle in it. That's about mainland Chinese people that immigrate to Hong Kong. So it's kind of the same. It talks a lot about the shift, their personal shifts of like adjusting to capitalism, essentially. And I'm really, really happy that I love this movie as much as I do now, because for so long I felt a little bit isolated by not being as excited about it as some people. But I had an epiphany. I get it now. Always Sunny, Danny DeVito moment where he's like,
yeah.
Pretty. I think this Wong Kar-wai guy has a bright future ahead of him. I think he should keep doing this, because this is a promising film.
Yeah. Please keep doing this. Please, Wong Kar-wai, if you're watching this, I'm fucking begging you, man. Make another goddamn movie.
Wong Kar, why won't you make another movie?
Wong Kar-wai, if you're watching this, why? Why? Don't you have better things to do with your
he's
time?
totally watching, he told me.
He said, "Oh, you're a close personal friend, Wong Kar-wai." I forgot.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I
All
could have
right.
had him on the podcast, but I forgot.
My time to. What the hell, man?
My bad.
He doesn't speak in English the whole podcast though. Yeah, my time to shine. Hello. I love this movie now as an adult. I have said I've loved this movie for a long time. I think a lot of us in Bomb Squad, not just the people here, was introduced to this movie via a class at Webster University. It was film and television appreciation. We watched this film in class, and at the time, as a stupid 19-year-old, I proudly proclaimed, "Yeah, I loved that." But I'm gonna let you in on a secret here, guys. I only said that because I went, well, people that know more than me love this. So if I want to look smart, I need to say I love this. And it's not that I didn't like it. I did like it. I thought it was beautiful to look at. I could tell there was like a lot to chew on with the performances. But in fall 2017, I don't think I was fully ready to fully get it, appreciate it. So I said I loved it, but it wasn't until 3 years later in 2020, lockdowns, if it were, when I was going back and watching a lot of stuff, that I watched this again, and I went, okay, I understand now. And I'm gonna get into the why of that near the end of this little review. But first things first, Tim, you brought up the cinematography being gorgeous. Sydney, you kind of really dove into the cultural context stuff that I really appreciate. Always love that culture clash stuff in movies. That's always interesting. Tim kind of said it plainly, though. I think the thing that really makes this movie sing is the lead performances from Maggie Cheung and Tony Leung. I want to say that I've said this on I said this on the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which, as we all know, is one of the greatest. What the fuck was that? What stupid list was it on?
The creature feature
during that one podcast. Yeah, the greatest creature feature of all time, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. On the Jaws episode, City, maybe you didn't watch the Jaws episode, but on the Jaws episode, I pulled up an IMDb list made by this random guy that was like the 200 best creature features ever made. And Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings was on the fucking list for some goddamn reason. Jaws was second, and some Australian movie I had never heard of was first.
And apparently Nope was not on the list.
Nope wasn't on the list, but something else like newer than Nope was on the list, so it's not like it hasn't been updated recently thing. Anyway, I said this on the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings episode. I do think Tony Leung is probably the greatest actor living on this planet right now. And the performance he gives in this movie would be the best performance of most actors' careers. However, I think he's better in Hard Boiled, personally. No, I'm kidding. Just really singing. Fuck Wong Kar-wai. I'm singing John Woo's praises this episode, actually. No. Tony Leung's performance in this movie is incredible. It speaks to his strength as an actor that it's not the best performance of his career, even. But that doesn't mean that this is not an incredible fucking performance. And Maggie Cheung, also an equally legendary actress in her own right. And I, like Sydney, wish she would do movies or just fucking act again in anything. She has not really been in much since 2046. I don't think that's the newest thing I can think of that she was in. She's in a deleted scene in Inglourious Bastards. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if that scene's ever been released to the public. Both of their performance, quite frankly, are incredible. And Wong Kar-wai knows that his actors are the star of the show here. Again, obviously the score is incredible. The cinematography is fucking insane. It's crazy. This shit's crazy. They take you out back and kill you if you made a movie look like this nowadays.
The Daniels cannot be found anywhere.
Yeah, you know what, guys? Let's go ahead and can we just show a still from this movie and then a side by side a still from Happy Gilmore 2? I'm not even trying to make a commentary. I just want to compare and contrast the visuals of the movies. I think it's funny. But the performances, I mean, I wish I had written stuff down to describe how much I love these performances. I think the tension, the chemistry between our two leads is off the charts insane. I think it's crazy how like the most romantic thing that happens here is they maybe briefly hold hands in a taxi cab for a moment. The most obviously visually romantic thing, but in reality, I mean, the way they look at each other, the way Tony Leung looks at Maggie Cheung when she walks away, the way that Maggie Cheung looks at him when he walks away, it's just, the yearning is off the charts crazy. And the actors, it's because of the actors. They buy 110% into these performances. They buy 110% into these characters. And it's the almostness of it all and how good they are portraying that. As I'm watching this movie, I feel like I can almost pinpoint the moment that Tony Leung falls in love with Maggie Cheung, and it's probably a good half hour before he realizes it and admits it to himself and to her. I can't, but also that point feels different to me every time I watch this movie. There's so much just going on in their eyes. It's fucking insane how good the performances here are. And, I appreciated, even when I wasn't sure, even when I didn't fully understand why people love this movie, and I only just kind of liked the movie and only said I loved the movie to look smart, I could recognize that the majesty of these performances. But in 2020, when I watched it that second time, I'd grown up a little bit, and I've also had some important life experiences. Tony Leung's character, Mr. Chow in the movie, says how, it just crept up on him. It wasn't like this big, grand, beautiful moment. It just sort of crept up on him when he realized that, he was in love with her. When I had first watched this movie, I was in a long-term romantic relationship with someone else. I wasn't engaged at the time, but I would later be engaged to this person. When I first saw this movie in 2020, I was no longer with this person. And the difference between those two viewings, beyond the obvious, I was in a relationship, then I wasn't, is that when I did not understand what romantic love was until I had lost it. It was hard for me to, I didn't understand what that feeling was. I couldn't tell the difference until I had lost it. And once I lost it and it wasn't there anymore, you know, I kind of went, oh, that's what love is. And, you know, watching In the Mood for Love after such that experience, when you realize what love is, you understand the love in this movie so much more. It's the title kind of describes it perfectly. In the mood for loving someone else. It's love is a beautiful thing. It's hard to get, but it's very easy to be in the mood for it, so to say. I'm very much rambling here. I'm running on empty. There's a if I had written my thoughts out, I might have been able to explain this a little better. But I'm sure we'll have quite a bit more to say in general discussion. And we'll get right to that after a brief commercial break. Hi, welcome back from that ad break for another ad. See that shit behind me with the colors and shit between the two vapid capitalism shelves? The thing that's not a vapid capitalism shelf is a movie palette. Basically what it does is it takes the primary color of every frame of a movie, slices it into these little bits and puts it all on a palette. Mine's for the movie Punch Drunk Love. Tim's pointing to the one he has for Mandy. They have plenty of ones on this website. In the Mood for Love would probably be a beautiful one to own. The color palette of this movie is insane. It would probably also be a very orange one to own. So if you like orange, get the In Mood for Love movie palette.
Lots of orange, lots of green.
Lots of green. If they don't have the In the Mood for Love movie palette, try and see if they have the If Beale Street Could Talk movie palette. It would probably look really similar. Complimentary. Point being, they have a bunch of movie palettes. If the one you want isn't on there, for a little bit of extra money, you can have one custom made for you. So go ahead, add it to your cart. But before you check out, make sure you enter the code SQUAD15 to save 15% on your order. Odor? On your odor? Damn, this bitch stink. On your odor? No. On your order. So yeah, go ahead and check out. And now back to the show. All right. The biggest question of this movie. What does he whisper at the end?
Arby's.
What do you think he whispered at the... Fucking going to Cambodia during the Vietnam War to go, I want to own an Arby's franchise.
I haven't thought about it.
I can't top that answer, Tim.
I think, you know that scene from...
You know what's interesting? I thought about it a lot. Sorry, go ahead, Sydney.
I was gonna make a stupid joke, so no, I'll continue. Okay,
no,
I'll
please make your stupid joke.
I was gonna make a reference to what does Julia Butters say in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where she like leans in and whispers in his ear, and she's like, "That was the best acting I've ever seen in my life."
Oh yeah.
Well, she's gonna be in Freaky Friday or Freakier Friday, which is crazy. She's still like a kid to me, but whatever. Continue.
Tony Leung whispers to himself in the tree, "You fucking nailed that shit, man."
That was the best acting I've ever seen in my life.
Holy shit! I didn't know you had it
You
in you.
should say
Goat.
that to himself. He's incredible.
Tony Leung,
I
was
want to
not
be
familiar
in a
with your
Marvel
game.
Studios movie. I want to be the Mandarin.
Why, Tony? His back must hurt from carrying that film. I'm serious. He's so amazing.
Tony Leung is the GOAT. When I first watched this movie, the question of what did he say really was a question I wrestled with a lot. And in my most recent viewing, I didn't really wrestle with it because I don't even think it doesn't really matter the exacts of what he said. I have a good idea of what it was about. It was about her. Yeah. What exactly? I don't know. I don't think that matters.
I agree.
Yeah, pretty much. I will say you all kind of talked about how on your first viewing you were like, this is good probably, but I don't fully get it. And I will admit I was also kind of in that camp, partially because this was one of those Webster fucking like 5:30 to 9:30 classes, and so I was real sleepy. I was real sleepy, and also this was like a so I first watched this in a class that was like a specifically like films of Wong Kar-wai class. So it was like a half semester thing. We watched all 10 of the movies he had directed.
Whoa, wait, what class was this?
It was
only offered once.
Yeah, it was a class called the Films of Wong Kar-wai. Pete taught it.
That sounds amazing. I didn't have to watch a single Wong Kar-wai film in college.
It was cool.
I went to the same Webster as you guys, but I didn't have to watch a single one. I took multiple film classes. I feel wrong.
I guess, did you not have Pete for film and TV appreciation?
No, I didn't for that, but but I did have him for history of film. Which is not...
Yeah, I had Eric...
I remember Pete says that In the Mood for Love is like the film that's like always in his curriculum.
Yeah, I had Eric Mink for that class.
Me too.
But I did watch In the Mood for Love in his Films of Wong Kar-wai class.
Wow,
and
jealous.
So that was the second half of semester class, and this was right after my near fatal car accident. So I was also slightly brain damaged at the time. So a lot of movies were just kind of in one ear out the other, and I was just like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'm again, that's another reason why I'm glad I was, had an excuse to revisit this. But that was a cool class because we got to watch all of Wong Kar-wai's movies, but also like Pete had some rarer cuts of Ashes of Time and The Grandmaster.
Wow.
So we got to watch those in Room 123. So that was really cool. And then he actually got a 35 millimeter print for 2046, which was very cool. I remember he was so worried, like, so many things could go wrong. This could get lost in shipping or catch fire. But it didn't. They played it. It looked beautiful. It was like just dirty enough, but still looked really nice. It was really cool.
I'm jealous.
You got to watch My Blueberry Nights with other people. Your favorite Wong Kar-wai movie.
That was the last one they showed in the class.
That is the one with Nora Jones.
That's the one American one.
That's the one he made specifically so he could work with Nora Jones.
Not an actress? Question mark?
But also,
fun fact.
Oh, go ahead.
In the Mood for Love 2001, which is a short film Wong Kar-wai directed that's also stars Tony Leung and Maggie Chung, which has been rarely seen. It recently screened in theaters nearby. I wasn't able to go. Fuck. I wanted to. But In the Mood for Love 2001 apparently served as the basis for what would eventually become My Blueberry Nights.
Mm-hmm.
And literally the only reason My Blueberry Nights is an American movie is, and this is according to Wong Kar-wai, Nora Jones doesn't speak Chinese.
Fair enough.
So he needed to make a movie in English for her.
Fair enough.
Wong Kar-wai, your brain is fascinating. Why Nora Jones specifically? I'm not hating on Nora Jones, but
she's not a
fascinating.
I don't think she was an actress prior.
You had to see it through.
I'm thinking about like if I had unlimited power as a filmmaker, if I was like an auteurist filmmaker, what random niche musician would I want to cast?
I'm looking it up on IMDb. This is
No,
Sorry,
I
go
was
ahead.
just like, I'm like, what niche musician would I want to cast that has never acted before? Not that Norah Jones is niche, but she's not like, I don't know, she's not like necessarily dominating the charts all the time. And it's kind of just a random collaboration that I'm dying to know about.
Yeah, especially looking at Norah Jones's IMDb page, where this is her only acting credit. This is one of only 2 acting credits she has in feature films, where she has 17 acting credits, and in 15 of them, she's credited as playing herself. But not My Blueberry Nights.
Yeah.
What a film! What a film!
One other thing I wanted to bring up about that class is that when I was walking out of In the Mood for Love, which was one of the ones that screened at Winnymore, I remember overhearing Pete talking to someone and just kind of remarking at how it's kind of crazy that this movie is rated PG. And he's just like, this is rated PG. Shrek is rated PG. And I mentioned this comment to Tanner, and that gave birth to a meme called In the Mood for Shrek.
That's why you asked for that photo earlier.
Yeah, I got to get it in the pot. It's very important that the people see In the Mood for Shrek.
But I think that does kind of raise kind of like an interesting point of like there's so much like intimacy and romance and adult themes inferred but not really demonstrated. So rating it higher than PG feels like it would be unnecessary, but it also feels weird that it's rated PG as well.
This is not a movie for kids.
Yeah, like I was looking at
not necessarily because it's inappropriate, because if a kid watched this, he'd be like, "What the fuck is this?"
I was looking at the IMDb page earlier, and when I was looking at the content rating things, it was like everything was green except for alcohol and tobacco, which was a mild. Because man, they do be
smoking in this movie.
That's another thing I wanted to bring up is Wong Kar-wai might be the greatest living director at making smoking look really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like that shot of him just holding a cigarette behind the back of his head. God, a cigarette has never looked better in a movie. It's incredible.
I have such a intense aversion to cigarettes and smoking. Growing up in a household where both my parents smoked, and the general thing that my parents told me was always, you know, if you ever do something you shouldn't have, do some drug you shouldn't have, or God forbid, get drunk, whatever, call us, we will come and get you, we will make sure you are safe. However, the general vibe was, if I ever catch you smoking a cigarette, I'm gonna beat your ass into next month. So
yeah, like I
have such a built-in aversion to cigarettes that makes the fact that when I watch In the Mood for Love, the cigarettes damn near look cool to me all the more impressive.
Yeah, no, he's simply built different about depicting cigarettes. And I'm like, I don't smoke cigarettes. I smoke other things that are illegal in the state of Missouri. But I don't smoke cigarettes. And but I like the idea. I romanticize cigarettes a little bit. But God, yeah, no, Wong Kar-wai just makes him look so fucking good. Wong Kar-wai should have directed the live-action Cowboy Bebop, is what I'm saying, really.
You know what's so funny is that
agree.
I watched this movie. So for context, my boyfriend, he wants me to watch all 400 some plus hours of One Piece, and I said that I would if he watched the equivalent amount of hours in films of my choosing. And we were watching In the Mood for Love as one of the films. And I just turned to him and I was like, there are Spike Spiegel prototypes everywhere with those with eyes to see, because like we also watched The Long Goodbye. Like Elliot Gould's character in that movie, he is a smoker and he looks damn good while doing it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, like all these cool people that just like make smoking cigarettes look so cool in a post cigarette vape nation. We've done a full 180 where now smoking seems more inviting to me than vaping. And when I watch films like this, I'm like, I'm not a smoker, but I get why people are. That's what I'm saying here.
Pete had a story about when he was teaching this class. He was like, okay, so I'm not proud of this, but I was teaching Wong Kar-wai in a class, and one of the students was somebody who had quit smoking 5 years ago. And then he picked it up again after watching In the Mood for Love.
No!
Oh,
Which I'm just like, oh, that's awful, but also kind of cool.
it's not your fault, Pete.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the interesting when you talk when you talk about smoking and vaping, especially in the context of movies. When I see smoking in a movie, 90% of the time it's kind of used to represent something romantic. A lot of the time, I feel like smoking is a very romantic thing in movies. I think maybe the most famous example recently is in maybe not necessarily romantic, but just, relationships, platonic or romantic in general. Most recent example I can think of is that, probably the shot from Drive My Car when they both hold their cigarettes through the sunroof.
So beautiful.
I don't know why, but cigarettes represent something nice, and I don't know if this is just what the general cinematic language is now, or if this just says something about me as a person. But if I see someone vape in a movie, I immediately think their opinion is not worth considering.
The vaping cardinal in Conclave is the example that comes to mind.
The fucking cardinal always vaping. Literally, every time I see vaping in a movie, I just think douchebag.
Yeah, I'm like, just smoke cigarettes.
Even when it's like the little baby vapes, not like those giant monstrous things, but a little baby vape, I just think. And it's not like I think about this in people in real life. My parents vape now as opposed to smoking. They think it's better for them. I think the science is still out on that. But if they think it's better for them and they're happier with it, that's good. I don't see someone vaping in real life and think douchebag. But if I see someone vape in a movie, I think you're
I do think
less
there is.
than.
That's an interesting point.
I don't know if that's just what the cinematic language is, or if that's just me.
I think it is kind of visual storytelling.
No, I get that.
I think I'm thinking of examples of like characters that like vape, and I'm like, yeah, you would vape, like. But in real life, I don't feel that way necessarily.
I think it depends on the context, because I think it can also just imply youth, young generation. The example that's come into my mind is Jenna Ortega in Death of a Unicorn. I don't necessarily think she's a douchebag per se, but the vape is definitely saying something about her.
You remembered something from Death of a Unicorn?
I did.
I didn't see it.
I saw that in theaters, and I think 2 days later I forgot everything.
So I shouldn't watch it.
I liked it all right.
It's okay. It's the most 3 stars movie I've seen this year, I think.
That's what I'm hearing. Just very.
This is a Tanner 3 stars, by the way, which to some people is 1 out of 5.
That is damning, honestly.
I gave the new Captain America movie a 3 out of 5, and my one friend said, "Damn, it's that bad."
I do strive to be like you and give everything 5 stars. I want to be a true lover, I'm being so serious.
I can't help myself.
Serious. It's so nice.
In the mood to love movies.
Yeah, I'm in the mood for loving movies, and I hate when I feel like a hater. And I love when I can wholeheartedly embrace something, and I feel like I was able to do that with this movie, In the Mood for Love, for the first time after multiple rewatches, and it feels good. Feels good, man.
Sometimes in movies it takes a while, and I'm not even I never want to write off a movie even after I first watch it. There's a YouTuber, his name is Cinema Wins. Wins, who does the opposite of Cinema Sins, and his general philosophy is every movie is someone's favorite. I want to know why. And that is generally the mindset I also take. I try to see the good in movies. But which is why with some movies, 2001: A Space Odyssey, I had to watch that movie 10 times before I finally got it, and now it's like one of my all-time favorites. Granted, what happened is that the first 9 times I watched it on either a small television or a laptop, and the 10th time I watched it, it was in IMAX.
I've only seen it 3 times, but yeah, the first time was just on DVD at home, and I was like, that's all right, I guess. And then I watched the IMAX release, and I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. And then we saw it in 70 millimeter in Chicago, and that was incredible.
It was wonderful. But yeah, it was just a big, oh, I get it now. Sometimes it just takes a few watches. As far as being an unironic lover thing, Sydney, I do like being an unironic lover, but it has some downsides. I recently, and I tried to talk myself out of it, but then at the end I was like, but this is one of them. I have my Letterboxd list, which is my all-time favorite movies, not in any particular order. Obviously, I can't do that because it has 260 something movies on it, and that seems neurotic. But so it's in alphabetical order. But recently I was like, thinking of movies I really love and if there's any I should add to it, and I eventually reached a conclusion, and I said to myself, fuck, I need to add Space Jam to this list. So it's a gift and a curse is all I'm saying.
I think still a blessing overall, like love what you love. But I do sometimes feel really
in the mood for Space Jam.
I do feel really embarrassed sometimes when I give Scott Pilgrim versus the World 4.5 stars. I love that movie, genuinely do. But then I watch a Wong Kar-wai movie, and if I feel the inclination to give it something less than Scott Pilgrim or something, I'm like, oh, that can't be right. I have to rate it higher than Scott Pilgrim, right? On virtue alone? I don't know.
I think at least half of the 5-star ratings I've given out has at least been in part influenced by me in the back of my head going, well, motherfucker, you give Space Jam 5 stars. You gotta.
I also wanted to touch back on how what I think is a really special thing about this movie is that it ages well, as in to person, it's not that the movie has grown and changed, it's how we have perceived it, that how we have grown and changed has changed our perception of it. And I think there are some movies out there like that, but I think this one is definitely a really glaringly obvious example in my life of, what you said, we didn't have the life experiences to really know what real yearning was. I mean, we knew love, but we didn't know no. And I think we've all probably now experienced it to a different degree, different degrees. And I think it's special that it's something that is a little bit of a touchstone for people. This is a universal or relatively universal human experience of love, whether it's requited or unrequited, and whether it works out or it can't work out due to outside societal forces. Or whether it works and everything's fine. It's a common occurrence, and it's a representation of the beauty of humanity. I know I'm sounding really faux intellectual, but it's true. I'm being earnest. Earnestness is in this year.
Ernest, yes.
I do want to touch on that because there's literally a quote in the Wong Kar-wai box set. It's talking about his thought process in the restoration of the movies, but he says this quote. It's something a man can't walk in the same ocean twice because the ocean is different and so is the man. Something to that effect. So it's literally going into that, you're not going to be the same person the second time you watch the movie, and the movie's not going to be the same movie the second time you watch it. It's all going to be different each time.
I've always said that, and this is more of a personal thing, but I've always believed that, the way I feel about movies honestly says more about me and where they find me in life than what they say about the movie. I often feel that way, that, it's such a deeply personal thing, and it says more about me than the movie does, because, finds me where I am. We talk, critics talk, people talk a lot about meeting the movie where it is, but sometimes it feels like the movie's more meeting me where I am, and that could influence my interpretation of things. And the thing you were just now saying about how, a man can step back into the same motion, but it's not the same motion, and he's not the same man. When my engagement blew up, in with the benefit of 3, 4, 5 years of hindsight to really process those emotions, you kind of come to realize while you do miss the person, obviously, this, at least in my case, I obviously miss the person. I love that person. But it's almost less the person you miss and more what your life that you miss, what life was for you in that moment of your life.
Yeah.
And I guess that kind of, I was saying earlier how I couldn't, I didn't understand love until I lost it, because, one day I didn't have romantic love, then I did have romantic love, but since it was such a gradual thing, I didn't notice the difference until all of a sudden it wasn't there anymore. Yeah. As American Idol winner Chris Allen once said, you never know a good thing till it's gone.
He famously came up with that statement. Yeah.
He came up with that. That's an original lyric from him. Live Like We're Dying. Great
Mitchell
song.
Did not say that.
I loved it when I was like
Big
12.
Yellow Taxi or anything.
What does Joni Mitchell know? Big Yellow Taxi is an original song by the Counting Crows.
I thought that for many a year of my life. I won't lie.
I also thought that. I didn't discover the Joni Mitchell one until years later, and when I finally listened to it, it sounded wrong to me
now
at
the
first.
Counting Crows one
like,
I haven't heard
right.
in years, and I'm like routinely listening to the Joni one.
Now I still have a soft spot for the Counting Crows one, because as a young 12-year-old boy, I listened to that and went, man, that's fucking crazy. They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. That's deep. So it's always gonna have a soft spot in my heart because of that.
Many such cases.
What are we talking about? Right, In the Mood for Love. I don't know how we got on the Counting Crows cover of Big Yellow Taxi. What do you think of Big Yellow Taxi, Tim?
It's a song.
And there you have it.
He does not know what song I'm talking about.
I know the song.
It would be so funny if you didn't.
I don't think I knew it was called Big Yellow Taxi, but I know the song.
Is Counting Crows lead singer, is he still a white guy with dreads guy? Or did he stop doing
I
that?
don't fucking know.
I actually read that recently on Wikipedia
good.
for no reason.
I saw a white woman with dreads in public the other day, and I hope she didn't see me, because I involuntarily went, ugh.
Grinch fingers.
I'm sorry, we're talking about a movie. We got so off topic. That's what makes this podcast beautiful. You hear my opinion. You hear our opinions on other facets of life.
They make the world go round.
Not to go too plot brained with a movie that's not concerned about plot, but when I watched it this time, and how, Mr. Chow just misses Sue Maggie Chung's character all those years later, because he hears, a woman lives here with her child, and I guess he just thinks, well, the woman I know didn't have a child. And when I watched it this time, I don't know if I'm an idiot, if this is obviously what the movie's saying, or if this is not what the movie's saying, and I don't know why the thought didn't occur to me until now. But as I was watching the movie, the thought occurred to me to think, fuck, is that his kid?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it is. But the thought occurred to me.
That would be a lot to happen off screen.
It could be.
I think the implication is that maybe it happened in Singapore. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if they ever actually managed to cross paths in Singapore. The movie makes it sound like they didn't,
but routinely are like, we can't be like them, which makes me think it's not. But at the same time, it's just open-ended enough that real yearners like ourselves can hope that their love lives on through their child.
Yeah.
I was reading the Wikipedia page for this movie, as all true intellectuals do. After watching a movie, you pull up the Wikipedia page instead of the letterbox.
Explained, yeah.
But yeah, what the fuck did he say? But as I was watching this movie, or as I was reading this page, I noticed this thing where Wong Kar-wai says the movie that might have influenced him the most when they're making this movie. I don't know if you guys have heard this. He thought it might have been Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo was his biggest influence, and he specifically cites Tony Leung's character and compares it to Jimmy Stewart's character in that movie. How, you know, we see these actors and we inherently trust them. These are nice people. We inherently trust the kindness in them, that we don't want to see the darkness in these characters. We don't want to see their dark side, kind of thing. We don't want to see them capable of doing wrong. He specifically says James Stewart's character in Vertical is such a nice guy, so nobody realizes or thinks that this character is clearly very sick. And I almost wonder, you know, reading that made me think, well, maybe Tony Leung wants to say, I'm not like them. But then, you know, the darkness is him being like, well, I am like them. I'm cheating on my wife.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of the cheating on the spouses thing, did the spouses, like, get together? Like, you know, the ones we never see. So, by the way, so Charlie Brown ass that we never see the other spouses' faces. I fucking love that.
I was like, they're like the Charlie Brown adults.
But like, it seems that their spouses disappear from their lives at some point, which makes me think that they got together. But also, I don't know. Maybe they are still in their lives, and the fact that we don't really see them in the movie is more of a reflection on the fact that they're so obsessed with each other that they start neglecting the person that is in their life.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of that? What do you guys, can I get a YouTube reaction to this? What do you guys think of that?
I don't know.
Yeah. I think we're cooking there.
2 thumbs up. Roger Ebert.
What were you saying, Tim? Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying, no, Tanner might be cooking.
I think there's a lot to be said about like the time in which this was set, where it was kind of their lives were kind of largely ruled by societal expectations, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't have really any firm thoughts on like who ends up with who, because I don't know. I didn't think about it, which is stupid, I guess, but I
mean, it's not the point of the movie. It's like a thing happening in the background of the movie.
I mean, is it more painful, the idea that they cheated and fell in love and stayed together, or that they cheated and it was a fling and nothing came of it?
I feel like both of those things, you know, they cheated and nothing came of it, or they cheated and fell in love and got divorced from their respective spouses and married each other, or, you know, I see this in a lot of affairs. One side sort of pulls back and is able to recover in their life, while the other side, life falls apart, and the other person in the affair kind of thought it was just a fun thing, and the other person thought it was more serious. You know, there's stuff like that. I don't know. It's kind of interesting to think about, because their spouses do just sort of disappear the last 30 minutes of the movie, which is a whole like third of the movie.
Yeah, it really hammers in. It really hammers in how like they are more just metaphorical beings, like rather than characters. They kind of are MacGuffins, so to speak. I don't know. It's kind of an improper use, because it's not super plot driven, but they're devices for sure, and that goes to show that they're not even their faces aren't even seen, and you know, the way they interact is so out of sight, out of mind. I mean, it affects the general atmosphere, and it obviously makes the events happen, but I don't know. That's a really interesting question about, like, I don't know what the dynamics of their relationships are after the movie ends, or even in the in-between times.
It's fascinating to think about, because like I think the beauty of this movie, and this is going to sound like such pretentious film scholar bullshit, is how much of this movie is happening off screen. It feels like every scene of this movie is a reaction to something we didn't get to see.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting, because the characters don't get to see the affair. So like, who knows? the way they reenact the affair could be just nothing like how it happened.
I think that's also part of what makes this kind of what Sydney was saying, sort of unpierceable to somebody who is just getting into films, is that so much of it isn't being seen. A lot of it is kind of going off of what is said in dialogue. It makes it a little harder to approach if you're not as experienced with, art house type films, but it's also what makes it very interesting, because you pick up on these bits, but it is also still largely driven by, the performances and the cinematography and the score and these artistic things. It's a very interesting film.
Yeah, and I'm trying not to think of it too much right now because I also haven't seen it in a while, but it is worth remembering that Tony Leung's character Chow in this movie is seen again 4 years later in 2046. So Sue also briefly in that movie. So it's interesting to think about all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Good picture. You know what? Many people are saying this. This is a good movie. Many people are saying this.
That
The
is
people
correct.
might be onto something when they say that this is a good movie.
People, they come up to me and say, we love In the Mood for Love. We love In the Mood for Love. That's why Tony Leung, my ambassador to United Nations. The late, great Tony Leung.
I have a theory that every man can do a Trump impression.
We love him, don't we, folks?
I would say, I want to see Donald Trump talk about
I'm dying to know his
why.
opinions on Fallen
Oh,
Angels.
imagine it's like the most intelligent stuff that he's ever said. Like he starts talking in complete sentences for the first time.
What's his letterboxd?
Well, really, it's amazing. Wait, Trump, where's the letterbox? Drop the at. But Baron Trump has a letterbox.
Someone
How
at
did we get here?
NYU is forcing his hand.
Yeah. Some girl made it for him, probably. Oh, you're the president's son? That's cool. I don't know what this character I'm creating is.
It's really good.
I don't know. I highly doubt you're the president's son would actually work on the president's son. He'd probably be like, I know you know that.
He's
What
like,
are you
I'm
talking
8'7".
No, he's just like, I like my suitcase.
I'm literally 8 feet tall. What do you mean?
Yeah, he's like, I'm 8 foot tall. I can't blend into any environment. Like, you're gonna know who I am. I'm gonna be at like 10 feet above you.
When I visited New York last year and I passed by NYU, I was scared. What if I see him?
You could have.
What if he's
I
here?
saw Blanket Jackson when I was in.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Huh.
Pretty cool.
When I was in New York City, some car rolled down its window. I made eye contact with the guy in it, and he went, "Oh fuck, we can't park here," and he drove away. And then I talked to my friend James afterwards, and I was like, "I don't know what that was about." I made eye contact with this guy, and he freaked out. He looked kind of familiar, I think. And then James explained to Tanner that celebrity probably thought you recognized them and got scared. And I went, "Oh." Still don't know who it was.
That Blanket no longer.
No, they
goes
just
by
recognized
Blankets. I'm
you
sorry
from
to him for using that name.
They recognized you. They recognized you from the Speed Racer video. They were like, "Ah, fuck, it's the Speed Racer guy."
That has happened to me.
He's gonna
I've
cry
been
on my
recognized in
car.
public from that video.
That's whoa.
He's gonna
that's
cry in my
crazy.
car. I can't park
All right,
next to
I
him.
think it's clear that we are absolutely running out of steam here. If we're talking about meeting Baron Trump in New York, which has nothing to do with In the Mood for Love. So final thoughts, shall we move on, everyone?
So,
Sydney, final thoughts on In the Mood for Love.
There's not a lot that I can say here that hasn't already been said. I mean, just both in this context and also just by every film lover ever. It invented the color red or orangey red, whatever beautiful
True.
The subtlety and the nuances of these performances are a big reason why it holds up. I want to give a special shout out to Maggie Cheung's wardrobe in this film. What a beautiful, beautiful set of costumes.
46.
Yeah, it's wow.
There were 46 dresses.
Um,
Not all of them made the
yeah,
cut.
wow. I think what I would love to do more than anything is go to some type of like fashion design museum and just see all of them, because wow, it does so much heavy lifting for her character as well. It teaches you so much about her. I mean, there are moments where they're like, "Why are you dressed so nice to go get noodles?" And she's just like, "I am this way. You know, I am who I am." It's very impressive stuff. Tony Leung. His eyes say so much without him having to say a single thing. I love love, even when it is sad. Oh, the suffering that comes with desire. Yeah, good job, Wong Kar-wai.
Yeah, I really agree with the suffering that comes with desire parts. As one of the top letterbox reviews of this movie says, "In the mood for love, more like in the mood to kill myself." Tim, final thoughts on the picture.
All right, so I'm gonna start this off with some show and tell. As I mentioned, I got the box set for Wong Kar-wai Criterion
Fuck you.
Collection.
Fuck you.
When I ordered this, my credit card was like, have you been hacked? Because I just bought it on one of the Criterion sales, but they were like, this is some suspicious activity. And I was like, no, I just like Wong Kar-wai. But no, this is the craziest fucking box I've ever seen. Check this shit out. It opens like this.
Whoa.
And then it opens like this. And there's a booklet here.
Oh my God.
Scrimming through a little bit of that. And then we got the fucking discs right here. And it opens like this.
Wow.
Haha, Schleichel. Got In the Mood for Love.
Whoa.
Bam.
And in order to
Bam.
access the contents within, you have to separate them further. Much to think
Wow,
about.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this shit's nuts. I just opened this today. I bought this like fucking 3 years ago, and I finally just had an excuse to open it. But yeah.
I don't want to think about all the Criterions I've bought, and I'm looking at them right now that visibly still have the shrink wrap on them.
I still gotta rewatch the Lone Wolf and Cub movies.
Every time I bought a Criterion, I say to myself, yeah, I'm going to watch the bonus features on this all the time. And I'm pretty sure my Before trilogy box set still has the shrink wrap on it.
Many such cases. But no. In the Mood for Love, great movie. Check this out if you haven't seen it. Just check out the filmography of Wong Kar-wai. He is one of the greatest living directors, and certainly of Hong Kong, but just worldwide.
Start with My Blueberry Nights for sure. Tim's
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah, you gotta start at the bottom and work your way up.
Honestly, My Blueberry Nights is not an awful entry point.
It's
Only
yeah.
because it's in English, so you can kind of ease yourself into
If
it.
you're an English-speaking viewer, it might be a pretty easy bar to clear. I would say go there and then go to the Grandmaster. That's also a pretty accessible movie. Yeah, Wong Kar-wai.
King Express is also pretty
Yeah,
accessible.
yeah, that too. Yeah, Wong Kar-wai, great filmmaker. In the Mood for Love, one of his best films. Watch it. Back to you, Dan.
Yeah, great stuff. In the Mood for Love is one of the greatest movies of all time. I don't know why. While it is not my favorite of this, when someone like asks what's like the best movie of the 21st century, what's the definitive movie of the 21st century, if someone ever asked that question to me, one of two answers pop into my mind. Most of the time when someone asks me what's the definitive movie of the 21st century, I think The Social Network. But sometimes, depending on what mood I'm in, if you ask me the definitive movie of the 21st century, I say In the Mood for Love. And I don't even know why. I think just when the movie was introduced to me, it almost had this air of like, this is what everyone thinks is the best movie of the last 20 years vibe to it. now 25 years. Wow, 25 years old. That's crazy. I was 2 years old when this movie came out. You think little 2-year-old Tanner would have liked this? Pre 9/11 Tanner would like this? I don't know why I chose to date myself relative
And you didn't
to 9/11.
stop it?
A lot to think about there.
I was
my bad.
Yeah, I was 7 when this came out, fresh off of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Not sure I would have quite the appreciation for this one. I thought Darth Maul was pretty cool.
7-year-old Tim watching In the Mood for Love. Where is Darth Maul?
Both
Is he safe? Is he all right?
in Obi-Wan's anger, he killed him.
You're watching In the Mood for Love and it's like, man, this Star Wars prequel's weird.
Yeah. Both PG? Both PG?
Both PG. Both oddly PG. This movie's fucking amazing. It is, in fact, one of the definitive movies of the 21st century. It is not my favorite movie of the 21st century, but it is one of the definitive ones. If you want to like get into Hong Kong cinema that is not action movies, this is probably a really great place to start. If you want to get into Wong Kar-wai, this is, in fact, I think, a pretty decent starting point, if only because it's so short. Mm-hmm. Watch Days of Being Wild. Watch Chung King. Watch Happy Together. That one's gay. Kind of interesting.
Happy Together, so good.
Very gay, very sad.
Very sad.
And then watch Infernal Affairs if you like Tony Leung. Yeah. You should watch Infernal Affairs. Martin Scorsese remade it, and it's the only time he won Best Picture. Anyway, In the Mood for Love is an amazing movie, and you are an amazing listener. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Bomb Squad Matinee. If you enjoyed listening to us talk about this on any of the audio platforms we're on, how about you leave us a review? It helps boost us in the algorithm or something. I don't know. I just work here. You can head on over to our Patreon, where the $5 tier gets you access to commentary tracks. Very tentatively, we are planning to record a commentary track for the new 2025 Ice Cube film, War of the Worlds. Because everyone and their mom's talking about this piece of shit, and I figured we got to get in on this action before it's too late. That is the most genuine laugh I've heard from Tim all recording.
God, it's gonna be so ass. I can't wait.
I can't wait. Have you seen the dolly zoom? I'll talk to you about it when the movie comes out, when we watch the movie. The $10 tier gets you an access to shout outs at the end of episodes. So Tanya Kraft, my mother, thank you so much for contributing. We really appreciate it. If you want to contribute in another way, you can go over to bombsquadproductions.shop. We finally have merch. We got shirts, hats, posters for most of our short films. Matter of fact, I have one for processing right there, right next to my Greg Sestero autographed t-shirt and my Women Want Me, Fish Fear Me, I Love Neck Deep hat. You can't get the hat on the store, but you can get a Bomb Squad hat on the store. Anyway, send us some money, you can get some stuff. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you oh so very much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. How about you mosey on down over to that comment section below and let me know. What do you think of In the Mood for Love? What do you think of Wong Kar-wai? Is this your favorite Wong Kar-wai movie? Is this your favorite movie from Hong Kong? It might be mine. It also might be Hard Boiled. I don't know. What do you think Tony Leung's character says at the end? Do you think the character's spouses got married at the end? And finally, My Blueberry Nights. What's up with it? Comment below and let me know. And while you're down there, hit the like button so you know how much you like us. Hit the subscribe button so you know how much you love us. Hit the bell icon to know exactly when we upload new videos. And keep watching so you can hear me talk about the hit film Ephus. That's right. One of the best movies of 2025. Ephus is an amazing picture. You should watch Ephus. Ephus. We're not talking about Ephus next week, but we are talking about another movie of mine that is an all-time favorite picture that I actually meant to compare today's movie to, but I forgot to. I'll bring it up next week. That's right. Next week, we are talking about a 75-year-old movie, the greatest movie of 1950, if you ask me, and one of the most definitive movies from Hollywood in the 1950s. We're talking about Sunset Boulevard. Woo. Should be a fantastic time. We'll see you then. Bye.
Farewell.
Quizás, quizás, quizás.